Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. You know, years ago, if I were to tell my girlfriend in a conversation over the phone that I think years from now this isn't going to work between us because I'm going to move into a house near a soda plantation and a chemical plant that could explode and create a podcast about descendants of zombies and the potentiality of a zombie invasion and one finding their true love can become a reality for them years after we got together and hooked up, I think she probably would have thought I was crazy. But it wasn't going to work between us because this is what I had to do. And because of you girls, if it were up to you, I would create Descendants of Zombies videos for the rest of my life, which I had no problem doing. It's just I find that a lot of people are just way too criticizing of Descendants of Zombies. They've got to stop. They've been doing it ever since Zombies first premiered in 2018, and I, for one, love the franchise. Oh, you can never have enough coffee in the daytime. Really keeps the zombie mojo going and the creative juices flowing for these videos. You know, a year ago, you know, how amazing is it that a guy shows up on YouTube after seeing all these crazy videos about Descendants of Zombies? And how incredible is his heart to create hundreds of Descendants of Zombies videos for girls who love it so much, and now love him so much for creating Descendants of Zombies videos. You know, shout out to every YouTube creator out there. If you want to see love like you've never seen before, then create a bunch of Descendants of Zombies videos for a bunch of girls who love it so much, and they will love you for forever. Their love is unconditional. And I didn't know this when I first created videos about Descendants of Zombies. All I knew was that girls were showing up at my door on Halloween dressed up as their favorite Descendants characters, sometimes Bridget, sometimes Mel, sometimes Evie, sometimes Red. And then eventually some girl just asked me to create some podcast about Descendants of Zombies because she couldn't find one on YouTube. And I looked at it as an opportunity. I was like, cool, okay. You know, first off, I wasn't really too intrigued by it because I didn't really know if it was going to blow up. I didn't realize the popularity of Descendants of Zombies, but I have each and every one of you to thank for that. Because I honestly don't know where I would be without each and every one of you. I'd probably just be some loser on YouTube, twitching video games. And a lot of relationships have ended because of twitching video games. I knew this one girl, she had hundreds of video games in her house, and she filled up her whole garage with video games, and that's all she ever did was twitch. So eventually her career as a journalist ended because she couldn't prioritize her career as a journalist over playing video games and wanted to stay up all night playing video games. Her relationship ended, and come to think of it, years later, every relationship I've ever been in has ended because of Descendants of Zombies. But I mean, as long as I got thousands of you girls supporting me and allowing me to be the voice of Descendants of Zombies, I don't see anything wrong with that. And it has a lot to do with my infatuation with Kylie Contrell, too, because Kylie was just a beautiful person with such a kind soul. Kylie is a genuine person. There's no doubt in my mind that Kylie was there for all of us, more so than what Dove Cameron ever was. So when I heard all the criticism and read all the reviews about Kylie Contrell, I had to put a stop to it. Not only because of you guys, but because Kylie Contrell was really suffering. And when I saw Kylie cry for the first time ever in February of 2024, I said, you know, I've been a journalist for forever. I've written a lot of really cool columns and put together a lot of really great videos for a lot of different girls and supported them over the years and achieved worldwide fame for it. So I guess Kylie Contrell is going to have to be the latest one to hold a special place in my heart. And here we are today, over a year later, with over 250 plus videos uploaded with nothing but great reviews about your favorite Descendant stars, and especially Kylie, because Kylie's got a piece of my heart for forever and she doesn't even realize it. God, like to just say you girls will forever and always hold a special place in my heart for supporting me when nobody else ever did. As a radio show host, it's very difficult to get somebody to hear your voice and to really love what you're talking about. And this niche, from what I can tell, is extremely supportive of who and what they love. And I never ever thought this YouTube channel was going to explode about a guy who wanted to live his life out near a soda plantation and a chemical plant and escape death every night of his life as he hunts vampires and werewolves. And, you know, I've ended up in a lot of crazy situations in my lifetime, so zombies fit perfectly with my lifestyle. You know, I lived with a guy who thought he was a werewolf for years. And you haven't lived until you live with a guy who thinks he's a werewolf and have to contemplate shooting him every night of your life. Now, while I may have never shot him because I thought he was a werewolf and that howling became annoying more times than I've ever admitted to you, and I had no silver bullets on hand, I seriously thought about going to the gun shop and picking up some bullets, because I really thought the guy really believed he was a werewolf, and then of course one thing led to another, and then of course I had people who were living across the street from me who I thought were vampires for years. They had this really gothic vibe in their home, and their house was actually constructed like a Romanian gothic castle. So it kind of put me in mind of the book Dracula that I'd studied in high school. It brought me back to all the crazy relationship moments that I was involved with, where girls actually thought they were vampires because of some disease they may have been battling. So when Disney made the decision to come out with zombies, I was ecstatic about it, because the script looked so amazing. It looked so beautiful, and the thought of a zombie and a human actually hitting it off really put into perspective just how a second chance could be something spectacular for somebody, because second chances really do exist out there. They just may be harder to find than others, have difficulty finding them, but they really do exist out there, and I just wanted to put that out there for all of you. Thank you, girls, so much for all the love and support you've shown this YouTube channel. I know that 2027 seems like a long time away, and a long time to wait for the Zombies 5, but we will see Zombies 5 at one point or another. I'm going to give you my word that I'm going to do the best I can to create as many Descendants and Zombies videos as fast as I can, so that Disney will know how badly you guys want it. And the thing is, I was looking at all the videos. Here's my issue with YouTube. I was looking at all these videos about Descendants and Zombies earlier today, and as I was browsing down through the collection and the inventory of Descendants and Zombies videos, you girls haven't got much to be proud of, have you? There's not much of a selection on YouTube to choose from, and that's where my issue lies with the people who create Descendants and Zombies videos. So I guess the responsibility of that is now fallen onto the shoulders of a guy who suffers from a zombie apocalypse, or a zombie infection, I should say, on his shoulders every single day of his life. I will definitely take great pride in creating these videos for each and every one of you. I can promise you that. And when I tell you there's going to be a Descendants and Zombies video, there will be a Descendants and Zombies video, and it will be packed with a lot of fun stuff, a lot of really exciting stories that I can tell you about my lifetime, because one hasn't lived until he's lived the whole Descendants Zombies experience, and can gain a greater appreciation for it. And that's what a lot of YouTube creators don't have, is this greater appreciation that one should have for Descendants and Zombies. Prior to doing these videos, I did a lot of studying about Descendants and Zombies, and went through a lot of Reese's Pieces cups and a lot of cheesies that were left over from Halloween. I'm going to tell you. What kind of cheesies do you guys like? Do you like hard cheesies or those soft ones? Forever I've liked those Hawkins cheesies, and I can't find them anywhere. I think they're at the dollar store, but every time I go to the dollar store, I have to pick up the necessary requirements so that one can survive a zombie apocalypse, because one can never be too prepared. So I spend all of my money that I have in my bank account on medical supplies, food, and water, just in case, because you can never be too sure. You could be dating a girl, or you could be dating a guy who's a vampire or a zombie, and you can never be too prepared to have to jump into action. Years ago, before Ghostbusters went out of business, if you lived across the street from somebody, or were actually living in a haunted house, you could just call 555 Ghostbusters. But after that movie drastically failed in 1985, nobody's called Ghostbusters in years. Hollywood has drastically tried to reboot it, but failed at every single turn. So the only guy you've got left to actually help you out with a zombie apocalypse, or prepare you for a potential alien invasion, which could happen reportedly between now and the end of 2025, is this guy right here. I've been trying to get abducted by aliens for years. I just never got around to actually succeeding with that. I've tried every night of my life ever since I was 13. My parents oftentimes thought I was crazy. Thought I needed psychological evaluations done. Mom would close the window every night of her life, telling me to come inside, stop being crazy. But my ultimate goal in life was to always be abducted by aliens, which is why I really appreciated how Meg Donnelly was really the embodiment of all of these characters. I mean, she really loved portraying characters like zombies, being half werewolf, being half alien. I was kind of looking forward to seeing her actually want to have a history with being a vampire, or have a history unveiled about vampires, but we didn't see that. Zombies 4 down to the vampires. I guess because she was getting ready to pass the torch herself and Milo were. And I know there are a lot of rumors, too, about them, being behind the camera for Zombies 4 Down to the Vampires. That will be their job as executive producers. But there are also a lot of rumors about them coming back to provide guidance for the new cast. I think we shouldn't shut the door. One shouldn't shut the door on them coming back to provide guidance for the cast of Zombies 4 Down to the Vampires, because I don't care how many photos Malachi Burton throws up on social media of himself lifting weights, and then that really drives me insane. When all these guys throw up photos of themselves lifting weights on social media, what is the point of that? What else productive have you done in your life besides lift weights and try to impress a girl that has no interest in you? I mean, the only guy that girls have interest in is Jonathan Clarke, because he's been around for forever, and whenever somebody can't make sense of their own life, they always call 555 Jonathan Clarke or 555 Jonathan Clarke kick his ass, because they got two separate lines. One for the advice, which is 555 Jonathan Clarke, and one for ass kicking, which is 555 Jonathan Clarke kick his ass, because one can never be too sure that their boyfriend or girlfriend that they may be dating may be a vampire or a werewolf. I mean, you can never be too sure about that kind of thing. But, you know, the thing is, one should never wake up every day of their life in entertainment. And I certainly hope that Malachi Burton is not one of these guys, because I chose to give him the benefit of the doubt. And from some of the photos that he's been throwing up on social media, I don't know if I really should. I mean, today I saw photos of him in a gym taking photos of himself with a cell phone, sitting up on a weight bench. You know, I think that I say this because one should never be too sure that they know everything when it comes to Hollywood, because Hollywood will can you before they ever give you an opportunity. And that's something that I very quickly learned as a radio show host and a journalist, is that Hollywood will not even give you a chance to explain yourself. If you step out of line or you're posting stuff on social media that is totally inappropriate, they will definitely can you. And your career as an actor and actress will become a thing of the past. And I certainly hope that Malachi Burton knows what he's doing. He's one of the first celebrities to really do this in a long time. I haven't seen any workout photos of celebrities in a really long time on social media, but I think he's just trying to put himself out there, trying to introduce himself to the Zombies franchise, because, of course, now he will take over the responsibility of Zed's character, portrayed by Mila Manheim, and we're going to see where we go from here with this. I, for one, though, am really looking forward to seeing how this relationship between them will affect the Zombies franchise and affect the Zombies universe in the way of comments and opinions. Right now, a lot of people are really settling in with Malachi Burton and Freya Skye, as they will settle in with Red when she eventually gets a love interest in Descendants. I think it'll go over well with fans. It's just going to take some time. You know, it took me some time to get used to the Descendants Rise of Red cast, because I was a really big fan of the originals from 2015 to 2019. Where was I in 2015? I was in the last few years of my career as a journalist, and then by 2015 I was closing in on the final few moments of my career, having one last hurrah, and then all these girls started showing up at my door on Halloween dressed up as their favorite Descendants characters, and I was blown away by it. You know, you'd sit there on my doorstep and you'd be telling me all these stories about why you were dressed up as your favorite Descendants character, and then some of you heard about my career as a journalist and wanted me to come back as a full-time podcaster about Descendants of Zombies, because there was no show about Descendants of Zombies on YouTube at the time. Here's the issue with it. There are people who are being paid millions of dollars to create these videos about different aspects of entertainment, and they are not specifically devoting their time to Descendants of Zombies, and that's why you can't find specifically a channel that devotes its time, he or she's time, to creating Descendants of Zombies videos, because they switch up topics. So I've noticed the thing is about a show, the reason why some shows just don't attract a whole lot of attention is because they switch up so many topics, and they don't focus on one specific niche. If one was to focus on one specific niche, just as I am for Descendants of Zombies, and devote the rest of his life to creating Descendants of Zombies videos for you, then he would get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views, because he focuses on one specific niche, as opposed to switching up 1 week from Descendants to Zombies, from Zombies to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to Spider-Man, from Spider-Man to SpongeBob SquarePants. I used to do it. I know how difficult it is to do. It is very difficult to do. One has to know a lot about pop culture to create a show on various topics. I've done it. I don't know how I've survived. I know that you girls have pulled me out of obscurity more times than I've ever given you credit for. And now in 2020, you know, in 2008, I was considered the best looking guy on the internet for creating videos about Descendants of Zombies and creating videos about anything. This is 2025, and thanks to all of you, I will go down in history for being one of the greatest of all time, and my legacy will never be forgotten about. And, you know, the thing is, one of the things that my greatest fear lied with was being forgotten about, because I never ever wanted to be forgotten about. And I really think nobody ever wants to be forgotten about after they leave a legacy behind. And I'm fine with my legacy being remembered for being a fan of Descendants and Zombies and being incredibly supportive of it. Because while I've tried to be incredibly supportive of other things that weren't accepted by the fans of it, like Twilight and True Blood and Vampire Diaries, I had each and every one of you that got me through it. My career as a professional wrestling journalist wasn't the greatest, although I did have the honor of meeting a lot of great wrestlers who I became friends with over the years, hundreds if not thousands, and interviewed every big name in the industry that you could possibly think of. And now I'm home creating these videos out of my house, which is really, really cool, because now I can independently create the show for you. I can talk about what you want to discuss, and I have an open heart and an open mind to create these videos, which is sometimes very difficult to do when you have to focus on different topics that you don't even want to talk about because you're being paid by someone of higher authority. But now I have this show where I can come on here with an open heart and an open mind, and I can create videos for you that you can appreciate, and we can talk about Descendants and Zombies, and we can have a good time doing it. I mean, just the other night, I created a video for you on the most severe thunderstorm on the history of this island, which, on record. And nobody should ever do that. I highly doubt that Drake Rogers, Meg Donnelly's boyfriend, was putting himself in tremendous jeopardy shooting that video for you guys, or talking about things like a zombie invasion for you. I highly doubt Milo Manheim did it for you, and Malachi Burton. Unbelievable. The stuff I've done for this show and the sacrifices I made, truly unbelievable. I think that is reason enough for you to hit the subscribe button for this channel, honestly. You know, I've been very fortunate in my career, and one of the greatest blessings that I've ever had is to have the honor to sit behind this podcast microphone and to have talked about Descendants and Zombies in a way that it's been long overdue and have deserved to be talked about for a very long time. Very long time. I've been on YouTube ever since I was 13 years old. I will be 40 next year. It's really scary knowing that you're going to be that old. When you think about everything that you've done in your career, I think just having you guys here and knowing that you're such huge fans of the show is making that a little bit easier for me. I know Ashley Tisdale was struggling with that just last year, knowing that she's going to be turning 40 this year. Me and Ashley share the same year of birth, which was 1986, 1985. Around that time, we were millennials. So I know Ashley was struggling with that too. But you know, the thing is now, I don't think I'm struggling with it as much as what I was, knowing that I'm turning 40, because, like I said, one of my greatest fears lied with the fact that I thought I was going to be forgotten about. But because all of you have loved my videos so much, now I know that no matter what happens to me from here on out, or how much criticism I face about being the biggest Ruby Rose Turner fan in the world, or being the biggest quality control supporter out there, I know I have each and every one of you for really saving my career when you didn't have to. It was kind of like that situation where Batman had his back broken by Bane in The Dark Knight Rises back in 2012. I remember sitting there and thinking that Batman was done. I didn't want to see Christian Bale quit as Batman. I loved his portrayal as Batman, but because of the help of the kids, Batman eventually rose out of the abyss and became the greatest hero of all time. His legacy was passed on to somebody else, Ben Affleck. But that's what it kind of put me in mind of. You girls wanted a hero, and for some reason you saw that hero in me, and you weren't going to take no for an answer. You know, you were talking to your friends, you were saying, I wish somebody would create a Descendants and Zombies podcast that would post a video every day for the rest of our lives. What about that Jonathan Clarke guy? And they... You guys got me back. Thank you so much for that. You know, I was just a guy basically doing radio shows ever since 1999, and I was talking about a whole lot of stuff that didn't make a whole lot of sense to a whole lot of people. And then here comes Kylie Control by 2005, 2006, and she is so young and still has her whole life ahead of her to create and inspire people. And then by like 2012, 2013, all she ever wanted to do was create videos about her favorite stars at the time, and then eventually donned the role of Red in the Descendants franchise after having watched Dove Cameron for years, memorizing all the lyrics to the songs, which I thought was adorable. I remember watching Kylie's very first YouTube video. The first YouTube video was uploaded in 2005, and it was called Me in the Zoo, and it was a disaster. It was a cluster. It was just a complete cluster, and it was uploaded on April 23rd, 2005. I was there. I saw it, and if you guys would have been young enough to remember YouTube in 2005, perhaps some of you out there are. I don't know how many of you are. It depends on the age demographic. But in 2005, YouTube was so horrible. It took forever to load the website. It took forever to load the video. The videos could only be uploaded to 10 minutes to a part. and it was just ridiculous. But I remember Kylie Control showing up about 2 or 3 years later with this show called Hello Kylie, and she was such a huge fan of Victorious, such a huge fan of iCarly, such a huge fan of Hannah Montana, and she was a huge fan of Hello Kitty, for those of you who don't know, and collecting Hello Kitty merchandise. I think she still is. So that reminds me that if I ever hit it off with Kylie Control because of these videos being incredibly supportive, I have to buy her a huge Hello Kitty stuffy, which should be no problem for me because my room is full of them. It really broke my heart too when I heard that story about how Kylie Contrell's friend had this guy in her life where she came to find out that he had one poster on his wall and a mattress on his floor. Oh God, did it ever break my heart. I wanted to take her for a chocolate fudge sundae and give her everything I had. And that's the reason why this room is decorated, because I heard that story and it broke my heart. I filled this room up with as many lights. And the thing is about this show too, I want to present a really kind vibe, a really kindness exists kind of feel, and there's a chance that hope does exist for somebody. I just don't believe about coming on here with some kind of strobe light and talking about a bunch of stuff that makes no sense and no stuffies in the... Just imagine if I took all of this away and how stupid that would look. You know, a guy sitting in his bedroom with just a bed and a mattress talking about Descendants of Zombies. You know, and I've seen that on YouTube too. I've seen this one guy who lives with his mom and he shoots videos out of his mom's bedroom, and it's like he has one chair, and it doesn't make any sense, man. If you're going to create a video for somebody, at least make something fun for somebody, something that someone can love, something that someone can fall in love with and appreciate the value of it. Because I really do love Descendants of Zombies, so much so that I would move into a home near a soda plantation and a chemical plant, and I plan to stay here for the rest of my life. I mean, you girls really did put my life back together, and you really did put the pieces of my broken heart back together, and I've lost a lot of relationships over my love for Disney over the years, for some of the most ridiculous reasons. But do you think I have any regrets for devoting my life to each and every one of you? No, I don't. I don't. I tell you guys everything on this podcast because I want you to know about it. I want you to know about my stories that relate significantly to Descendants of Zombies, how I became such a huge fan of Descendants of Zombies, and how one should believe always and forever that there is a chance that a zombie apocalypse could break out at any given moment. You've heard me talk about that many nights on my show. You will hear me talk about that again tonight. I will forever be incredibly supportive of Kylie Contrell and Ruby Rose Turner because I've seen them have their heart broken, and I think enough is enough. And I think it's time for more people to stand up and say enough is enough, but nobody is going to do it, so I guess the guy with the biggest heart in the room and in the world, Jonathan Clarke, is going to have to do it. For Descendants of Zombies fans, the greatest day in the history of Descendants of Zombies was when Jonathan Clarke arrived and showed up as the biggest Descendants of Zombies supporter in the world. Because I know how to create great thumbnails, I know how to produce great high-tech 4K videos, I know how to present facts for what they're worth, and I know how to create really great videos, which is something that wasn't being given to you as fans of Descendants of Zombies for a very long time. The only YouTube channel that was uploading great videos for you was Disney at their own contentment and for their own enjoyment, I think. I think that if more people devoted their time to talking about what was so special in their heart about Descendants of Zombies and what made it special for them, I think more people will be getting more subscribers on their YouTube channel. Do I think Ruby Rose Turner is a beautiful soul, so strong and so fearless? Sure I do. Do I think Meg Donnelly has still got a long way to go? Sure she does. They all do. But do they have to be faced with so much criticism on the road to success? No, they don't. Because what that provides for them is a roadblock they have to keep jumping over and they have to keep shying away from. And I don't want to have to do that for them. If I'm going to do anything for them, I'm going to set out to fix the pieces of a broken heart and put it back together, even if I have to do it by myself, even if it takes me years. I am so eternally grateful for every single person who ever hit the subscribe button on this YouTube channel, for every little girl who ever showed up at my door on Halloween dressed up as their favorite Descendants character who they aspired to be or whom they may have seen themselves through the eyes of. Because I was in a lot of really dark places in my life that I couldn't make sense of, and you became my light of the darkness because you were fans of Descendants and Zombies, and you helped me appreciate these franchises more than I ever have. You know, I was a really big fan of Hannah Montana and High School Musical, but I've never been as big of a fan of anything quite like this in my life, because I will never forget the profound impact and the imprint it's left on my heart because of all of you. Jonathan Clarke didn't become a celebrity overnight because Jonathan Clarke wanted to become a celebrity overnight with 3,000 subscribers, nearly 50,000 views on a YouTube channel that at one point had over 120,000 plus views and 800 videos uploaded on it and 4,000 videos over the period of 25 years. This didn't happen overnight because Jonathan Clarke wanted to become famous and become famous before famous was famous and all that stuff I say. This happened because of each and every one of you, and don't you ever forget it. Because of you being fans of Descendants and Zombies, that's the reason why Descendants and Zombies is at the point that it's at to take over. And I'm really excited about it. I am really excited for the future of these two franchises. I don't know what the future has in store for Descendants and Zombies. If, in fact, we will see mermaids, pirates, witches, sirens, whatever was in that vortex, I'm excited for. And I'm excited for Descendants Wicked Wonderland sometime between now and the summer of 2026. So if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, I think you're going to want to do that because I think you're really going to like it here on this YouTube channel. I love creating these videos for each and every one of you. I'm pretty much just a guy who sits behind his computer every day of his life and talks about Descendants and Zombies because I really believe that it's something special that will hold a special place in our hearts for forever, and I just wanted to give that to you guys. I really just wanted to be a show that you could be proud of and a guy that you could be proud of because I think one of the most important things as a YouTube creator is one has to establish a connection between himself and his audience and have a greater appreciation for his audience and what his audience wants to get the most out of his videos and out of his channel. Because if you don't have that, then you really have nothing. You girls have been incredibly supportive of me, and I honestly don't know where I'd be without each and every one of you. So from my heart to yours, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking a chance on me when you really didn't have to, and really blowing my life completely out of proportion, blowing this YouTube channel out of the proverbial water. So this is how it's going to go. Tonight, I hope you can join me for one final video. I will be back just before sunset tonight when the atmosphere is quite lovely outside this window. And I hope that no vampires and zombies do come in through my windows after the wildfires have backed out and the severe thunderstorms have moved out. So thanks, B, for that. Thankfully enough for that. I will be back tonight under beautiful conditions and a beautiful sky to create another video for each and every one of you, and I hope you can join me for that. And hopefully by the time we talk again, you will have achieved your dream today. And if you don't achieve your dream, tomorrow is another opportunity, and I want you to always remember and never forget that. So hopefully by the time we talk again in a few hours from now, you will have achieved your dream. I want you all to know that I love you so much. You are incredibly beautiful, you are incredibly supportive, and I honestly don't know where I would be without each and every one of you. And I want you to take away from this show that I do love you so much. While other YouTube creators won't tell you that they love you so much and they just upload their videos and they just go on about their merry way and their day and everything they have to accomplish because they feel as if they accomplished everything by uploading one Descendants video and promising you 100 that never surface. If I say I'm going to upload 100 Descendants and Zombies videos, then I will upload 100 Descendants and Zombies videos for each and every one of you because you deserve to have that done. If you deserve anything, you deserve that at least. And I just wanted to be that guy, to be the voice of Descendants and Zombies and a voice that you could trust. I love you guys so much. Keep kindness in your heart, and we will talk again in just a few hours from now.